shocked, locked, and rocked. That's what happened when I hit the wall, literally. It was June, clear blue sky. The heat of the midday sun warmed my back. Sweat rolled down my shoulders as I pedaled across that finish line, feeling accomplished. I had just completed a 52-mile fundraising bike-a-thon. It felt great to do something so significant. I was helping a music program I believed deeply in. Saying quick goodbyes to others at the event, I continued to ride my bike through town to get to where I knew my car was going to be parked. At home, Mom was planning for my high school graduation party that afternoon. She had a lot of people coming over. Commencement was a week away, but she liked things perfect. I love the freedom of my bike. And we didn't actually have bike trails near us, so most days I rode on county roads, pacing with cars driving by. This day was no different. As I continued across town, I only saw a few cars, but I kept up with them even after 52 miles. Getting nearer where I knew my car would be parked, all I had to do to finish my cool down was load my bike in the car, pack up, go home, and clean up for my party. Approaching two large concrete buildings on my left, I looked all around to make sure that I was clear of cars so I could safely turn left into the narrow driveway nestled between the buildings. Yep, all clear. I was still going pretty fast, but I made my move. I turned into that driveway, and suddenly there was a car right behind me. The building to my right had a narrow sidewalk. All I had to do was get up on that sidewalk, let that car pass safely by, and there was plenty of length to do that. And that's when it happened. I made my move, got up on the sidewalk, and suddenly, before I realized what was happening, I felt the bike going down from underneath me. Just like a pro ball player sliding into home plate, my head, wham, slammed into that concrete wall. The next thing you know, I dropped to the ground, face first. Stunned by what just happened, I slowly pushed up and looked around me. That car was gone. I was alone. My brand new touring bike was about 50 feet away from me on its side, those wheels still spinning. I knew I had to get to my bike. I didn't feel right. Something was really different. I knew my car was nearby, and I got there, I loaded it up, and I drove myself to the hospital. And at the hospital, I begged them to check me in. The admissions clerk, she looked at me like that was such an odd request, because to her, I looked fine. I insisted, and eventually they admitted me. The ER docs checked me for a concussion, and they said, "You don't have a concussion. Go home, you're fine. Call us if anything changes." Shocked, locked, and rocked. In that moment, the moment my head hit that wall, my whole body was shocked. The very state that I had emotionally been living in was locked, and the core of who I was and everything I ever believed in had just been rocked. And what if, in that moment, upon that impact, it actually saved my life? When I was 5, the kindergarten teacher asked us to draw a picture of what you want to be when you grow up. Oh, I was elated. I knew in an instant, a dancer, just like the kind you see on Dancing with the Stars today. Ooh, I felt it within, and I was super excited. This was going to be easy. I had watched dancers like that on TV. The flowing dresses, the glitter, the big hair. Oh, they move so easily and gracefully, so confidently. Those women, they look so beautiful and happy all the time. I loved watching them on TV, and I knew I could dance like that too. I was really excited to get drawing. My friends, they started asking, "What are you going to be when you grow up? What are you going to draw?" When they asked me, I proudly proclaimed, "A dancer!" I could feel my eyes twinkle with excitement. I knew that they would be excited for me too, because dancing's fun. I had just told them the desires of my heart. And to my surprise, when I told my friends and I told my teacher, and later I told my family that afternoon, instead of hearing, "Wow, Deb, that's super cool, we're super excited for you," I heard, "No, you can't do that, that's not right." I was stunned. I was hurt and confused. Why would they say that? Why would they tell me that I couldn't do it? They'd never seen me dance. I've never even shared this with anybody before. I knew what I felt in my heart, yet I kept hearing no and no again and again. I struggled with this. I knew what I felt. In that moment, my vision of me was bold, but my voice was weak. I tried to speak up, but nobody heard me. Begrudgingly, I sat down and I drew a nurse. The cap, the shoes, drawing those shoes, I felt my heart sink. I knew it was wrong. It wasn't right. How could they tell me? Why? Why would I need to draw something that somebody else felt was right when it was wrong for me? Sadness and darkness surrounded me, and all I wanted to do was disappear into the chair. I wanted to hide so nobody could see me. I didn't know then that I had just slipped into disconnect. See, my little girl dream was my adult dream, and they just became disconnected. And I began living life out of alignment. Another turning point happened in my life when I was 10. In fact, it was the day that became the anchor of all my trauma and hurt. I was left home alone to do some special chores. My parents, they had just had a bedroom built for me down in the basement. Mom was 7 months pregnant. All I had to do was some final cleaning, and we were going to move my things into the bedroom that afternoon. And I was super excited. I went above and beyond, taking care of every little detail. I poured my heart, my soul, my everything into it to please Mom. The last thing I had to do is I sat on my bed, and I sat down to fold clothes. Carefully folding, putting them away, they returned. Upstairs, I heard the door slam, heavy footsteps, yelling between them. Soon, Mom came downstairs to where I was, still arguing with Dad, and without skipping a beat, she lost it with me. She glared at me, assuming that I had done nothing the whole time she was gone. I tried to speak up, but my voice was not heard. They went upstairs. I followed. That fighting had escalated. And what my 10-year-old eyes saw, parents one to each side of me talking about me as if I wasn't even in that room. Dad saying, "Deb, I'm leaving your mom for a while. Call me when the baby's born." And my mom sharply replying back to him, "No, I don't want her. You take her." She never even looked at me. And he replied back to her, "No, she's staying here with you." In that moment, I was shattered. Hearing those words, they were fiercely telling me that who I am and what I do doesn't matter, that I'm irrelevant and they don't want me. That moment spun me into living with PTSD, but nobody noticed. Trauma, fight or flight conflict was in. Survival skills kicked on. The need to disappear for protection, the need to show up safely so I could be seen and heard, I started building a suit of armor. And just like Wonder Woman, wearing her gauntlets and connecting them for the first time, I connected mine, and my inner warrior ignited. Little did I know that I had just started a quest to be whole, healthy, and loved. When I was a teen, my suit of armor was in full effect, but I was always aware something about me was different. It was off. Others around me smiled, and they were happy, they were playful. I rarely smiled. I struggled with dark inner demons and suicidal depression. To the outer world, I appeared steadfast, a high achiever, gaining success in a career focused on music and business. But inside, my inner world was crumbling evermore. Upon that moment, when my head hit that wall, not once, not twice, but 3 times over the course of 30 years, life knocked me down and leveled me out physically, but not my inner spirit. My inner warrior, she is tough. She's strong, she's resilient, she's determined. About 7 years ago, I had my 3rd health disruption. Finally, discovering that I had also been living with an undetected severe traumatic brain injury, I found specialists who showed me how to heal. I was ready to dive all into powerful brain rehabilitation, to learn to walk again, talk again, to get out of chronic pain. The docs said, it'll take a year. It took 5. And during that time, I did rewire where my brain functions from, where, when, why, how. I began to heal whole from within. Add to it another 2 years, which I am still currently in, and I dove deep into trauma healing. I became aware that I was more broken and more disconnected than I ever thought. And I began shedding layers of trauma wounds and battle scars. And each layer shed is another step up into strength. And you know what? My inner warrior, she is a champion. And she steps up faster and faster and faster to triumph. And finally, last year, I emerged from a 40-year quest to be whole, healthy, and loved. I shed that suit of armor. And I released those anchors of trauma from being disconnected, shocked, locked, and rocked. At first, I felt really exposed and very vulnerable. And that is where true strength lies. See, it's in the whole story. It's in the whole healing. It's about being all in, all connected, saying yes to me, learning how to love, accept, and show all parts of me all the time. And this is what I've learned. Change the brain, change the game. No longer am I broken, traumatized, a victim. I stand here a victor, confident in my completeness, fully expressed, fully seen, fully heard. And through this healing journey, I learned to ditch that disconnect, and I teach my clients to do the same. I learned that I matter, that you matter. It started by saying yes to me, aligning those little girl dreams with my big girl dreams. And today, I live the vision, performing music, dancing. I am strong, I'm healthy, I'm whole with a loving family and a thriving business. Today, I choose to be all in, all the time, without losing any sense of self. My clients show up to me disconnected. They're disconnected from business, their brand, and their role. Their vision is stuck in the muck, not sure how to help their inner warrior show up confidently for success. I see them. I hear them. I stand for them. I lock arms with them, and I lead them through the muck so they too can show up confidently. And I teach them how to thrive, to wholly heal from within, so they too can be all in all the time.